He is the greatest Laker of all time. 5-time champion. The only guard to play with one team for 20 years. More 40-point games than LeBron and KD. Let me just say this, guys, more 40-point games than LeBron James and Kevin Durant. More 50-point games. More 50-point games than LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry combined. And more 60-point games than LeBron James and Michael Jordan combined. Give it up to the one, the only, Kobe Bryant.
So at 13 years old, I had a I had a kill list. I gotta hunt them down. Now you got a problem.
That's right.
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Seriously.
Seriously, this is gonna be fun. Michael in particular, he become my big brother.
The greatest of all time.
Oh, we call him Black Jesus. You're not intimidating me. We're gonna go at it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
You're about to take your shot and then all of a sudden, boom.
The kiss of death. Man, my back was really spasming.
There's a choice that we have to make as people, as individuals. If you want to be great at something, there's a choice that you have to make. We all can be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. And what I mean by that is the inherent sacrifices that come along with that.
I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for. So everything I saw, whether it was TV shows, whether it was books I read, people I talked to, everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketballer. Lay down, I'd imagine playing for the Lakers, and I'd imagine what the uniforms look like, I'd imagine where we'd be playing. And so you just keep dreaming and dreaming and dreaming, and before I go to sleep, I'm like at 120 points, you know? And so when you grow up, downloading that into your brain over and over and over, and then, you know, that summer, I made 1,000 shots a day, 1,000, right? That's on top of weight training and my conditioning. I made 1,000 shots. And so when you download that into your system, when you go out in the court and you're just executing things that you've done thousands of times before, and you have that dream, then that becomes possible. I come to understand, if I could work that hard every day, being blessed with the physical tools that I have, what would my career be? And I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, you know, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but you know, if you live your life to just get better every single day, and do that for 20 years, I mean, what do you have?
You getting up 6 in the morning, man? It's 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
What time do you go to sleep?
I don't need too many hours of sleep, man. I can go off for 3-4 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
3 hours?
Yeah.
What's a normal day like for you, particularly in the off season when you talk about getting up there early? I want to know what time you get up,
right,
and I want to know what you do when you get up.
Right. Well, I normally wake up at about 4:30. And
4:30 in the morning.
4:30 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning. And I get ready to work out. You know, this past summer I couldn't, you know, run like I normally do and do all the shots because of my knee.
Right.
So I'll get up in the morning and do my therapy and do weights and things of that nature. And I do that about 2-3 times a day sometimes. You know, but the key is when you get up that early in the morning, you finish your workout, you know, 12 o'clock, 12:30, whatever. You have the rest of the day to kick it with the fam. You know what I mean? Instead of waking up, you know, middle of the day, you get all of those hours in, then your day's shot.
Those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
I think that's when the idea of understanding a long-term view became important. because I wasn't going to catch these kids in a week. I wasn't going to catch them in a year, right? So that's when I sat down and said, okay, this is going to take some thought, all right? What do I want to work on first? All right, shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this. Half a year, 6 months, do nothing but shoot. All right, after that, all right, creating your own shot. And you focus. So I started creating a menu of things. When I came back the next summer, I was a little bit better, right? And
A menu being like, I've got my jump shot from 15, I've got my
I got my jump shot
fadeaway,
from 15, I got my 3-point shot, like just open shots, not miss open shots, right? Be able to shoot it with speed, because those kids are so much more athletic.
Yeah.
And then the next summer I came back, I was a little better. And the summer came back,
You
the
scored.
next summer I was a little better. I scored.
Yeah,
it wasn't much,
Right.
but I scored.
And this
you know?
is 12, 13.
12, 13. And then 14 came around, back half of 13, 14 years old. And then I was just killing everyone. And it happened in 2 years. And I wasn't expecting it to happen in 2 years, but it did, because what I had to do was work on the basics and the fundamentals. While they relied on their athleticism and their natural ability. And because I stick to the fundamentals, it just caught up to them. And then my body, my knees stopped hurting. I grew into my frame.
And then your athleticism, once you have the fundamentals,
Exactly.
the hard work, the mindset, and you tack on the athleticism, it's game over.
Then it was game over.
Wow. So from 13, you're good, average still?
I was good. I was good. And then about the end of my third, like right when I was.
What was the conversation like with your wife to say, listen, this is the schedule? Because look, some entrepreneurs, they're coming home at night and late, oh my gosh, my wife is upset because I came home at 11:30.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a sacrifice I'm making. This life's, I don't know if I can do this.
Sure.
You're on the road 9 months out of the year. If you especially played the Olympic, you won 2 gold medals, so you're doing that on the off season and you're trying to get that part going and training for doing your camps. What is the conversation like with your wife and kids to say, listen, this is what I'm doing? How did that conversation go?
Well, with the kids, it's different. So, like, the communication with our children is that Pops is working hard. This is the level of attention to detail you need to have in everything you do. So it's setting the example. Same thing with my wife. My wife's a stay-at-home wife. It's the hardest job, man. So she works really hard at that. I mean, it's, and so her attention to detail with that as well are examples for our children. And then for my wife, it's, she's as competitive as I am. So she's just like, listen, man, if you're going to be out here training 8 hours a day, if you're going to spend 9 months out of the year away from your family, you better fucking win the championship. What are we doing this for? What are we doing? What are we doing?
I love that.
But it's a balancing act, and that's the thing that's important.
Would you watch almost every game over or certain games?
All of them.
Every game you
Every game.
watch?
Every game.
The whole game
The
back?
whole game.
No
So,
way.
Yeah. So it started with me when I was when Phil Jackson's his first year here with the Lakers. One of assistant coaches, his name was Tex Winter, and I call him Yoda. I mean, he was like 82 when he got here.
Wow.
And he was responsible for teaching me the triangle offense.
How old were you then?
I was 21.
So 3 years, 4 years in the league?
Yeah,
or-
so about my 4th year in the league.
Okay.
And so I go up to his room, and this is when there were no iPads or anything like that, right?
Right.
So when you're on the road,
VHS tapes,
you have to call down to the front desk and they have to bring up the TV
Right.
with the whole, the rolly thing and the
Yeah.
VHS and the cassette tape and pop it in. And I thought we were going to watch what we call touches. So watch all your touches when you have the ball, all the decisions you make, good ones and bad. No, we're watching the start of the game
Oh my
to
gosh.
the end of the game, and not like the TV feed. We're watching the in-arena feed, the layup line, the timeouts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, rewinding, stopping, fast forward, rewinding, slow motion, every little thing, every game of that season with the 82-year-old Yoda,
Oh my gosh.
who is as brutally honest as you can get.
What did that teach you that season?
It taught me to look at detail. Right, look at things at their smallest. Right, look at body language. Look at the energy between players, our team and the other team. Wow. Right, look at the tactics. Look at the overall strategy, and to look at how tactically things are manifesting themselves.